Hello friends, welcome to Life is Not a Casserole Running. I don't have a lot of aspirations for any of the majors, so you probably won't be seeing any training for Boston or New York or Chicago on this channel. But one race that I do think about from time to time is the runDisney Marathon and the runDisney races in general. I ran the Walt Disney World Marathon in January 2020, and it has been a constant battle of willpower not to sign up for another runDisney race. I am weak and the marketing works on me. I am pretty convinced that there is subliminal messaging at work in their advertising.
You're gonna love this place, Larry. It really brings out the kid in you.
Call 1-407-WDisney and make the dream come true.
They are just really good at making you forget about all the money that you're throwing at them. They're selling the fantasy. You're leaving your troubles at home and forgetting that you have just spent thousands of dollars for a photo with a petite woman in a mouse costume. And with runDisney's springtime surprise registration just around the corner, next Tuesday, I believe, August 23rd is when registration opens up for the general public. I am once again doing that little mental dance with myself where I'm thinking, is signing up for a runDisney race what I really want? So today I am going to take you through my pros and cons thought process discussing the runDisney races, and hopefully that will help you decide whether signing up for a runDisney race is worth your time and your energy and your money if you are on the fence about registering. So we'll start with the pros. First and foremost, I think that runDisney puts on a really fun race. It is a blast, and I love that it doesn't take itself too seriously. I do not consider myself a serious runner, and by that I'm not talking about imposter syndrome. I seriously consider myself a runner, and I think everyone that is running the runDisney races also should consider themselves seriously a runner, but I don't take it too seriously, and I don't think you should either. And runDisney races are not about your performance, they are about the experience. There is tons of entertainment and music along the course. It is silly and it is fun. And I think running is actually kind of silly, like,
oh, I'm just gonna run really far today.
We do not have to do that. There's no health standard that says that you have to run a marathon for your optimal well-being. And I love that runDisney feels more like a celebration of running than a race in many ways. And from that, we will consider our first con, which is these races start hella early. Do people still say hella? Probably not. I don't care. I'm saying it. These races start hella early. Most races do require a pretty early rise, but runDisney races take this to a whole different level. And I think this is because they want most of the runners out of the parks by the time parks open. So for most of the races, with the exception of the marathon, you are going to be done with your race probably before the parks open at all for the regular guests. The races start at 5 a.m. Bus transportation for the 5K and 10K run from 3 to 4:30 a.m. and for the marathon and half marathon from 2:30 to 4:30 a.m. On the website, runDisney advises that you be on a bus by 4 a.m. or you will risk missing access to your starting corral. And when I did the marathon, I kind of remember there being a 3:30 advisory to be on a 3:30 bus. So say you want to get to the marathon corral by 4:30 to have a comfortable 30-minute cushion. You have to give yourself a 15-20 minute cushion to potentially wait in line and use a porta potty. There's also, when I did it, there was like a mile-long walk from the bus drop-off to the starting corrals. So that's about another 20 minutes. So you probably want to be off bus transportation by 3:50 a.m. And considering it's probably a 25-minute ride from your hotel to the bus drop-off, you probably want to catch a 3:30 a.m. bus from your resort to the starting area, and you're probably going to want to be awake an hour before that to get ready. So you're looking at a 2:30 a.m. start time. And when you consider time zones, me coming from Central Time Zone, I'm waking up at my body clock of 1:30 a.m. And imagine if you're coming from the West Coast, I don't even know how you would handle that. this wake up time is something you really want to consider when you're thinking about signing up for this race, because it could really impact your enjoyment of the day. At least I think it could. And then another pro is I love all of the entertainment along the course. You have characters all along the course that you could line up to get your photos taken for. There are actors that are along the course that are dressed up in maybe like just vintagey, old-timey clothes, and they're interacting with you the whole time. If you're running the marathon and the park's open while you're still on course, you potentially could maybe even ride a roller coaster or ride some rides. I know that Everest, I think, is a really popular one for runners to ride during the marathon weekend. Expedition Everest, that is, the roller coaster in Animal Kingdom. And I think the idea of riding a roller coaster in the middle of a marathon sounds like so much fun. I've never done it, but I think if I were to do this again, I would definitely try to ride the roller coaster. And along with all of the entertainment, you of course get a ton of great race photos. If you buy Memory Maker from Disney for your Disney trip through the My Disney Experience app, you can get unlimited photo downloads of all of these great photos that you're getting. Speaking of purchasing things, another con, or at least I should say just something that you should consider, is that these races are really expensive. I mean, the race registration alone is more expensive than most races, but you are not just paying for the race. When you sign up for a Run Disney race, you are also paying for a Walt Disney World vacation. Unless you live in Orlando, you're paying for an entire vacation at Disney World. And we all know that that's not cheap. For many people, you have to consider airfare, you have to consider transportation from the airport to Walt Disney World, which used to be free if you were staying at a Walt Disney World resort, but they took that away, and now you have to pay for a Mears Connect or a Lyft or however you want to get from the airport to Walt Disney World. You have to pay for your hotels there. So if I'm doing, say, the 10-miler for a springtime surprise, that is on Sunday. The expo's on Saturday, which means I need to be there at least on Friday to get to the expo on Saturday. So that is at a minimum a 3-night stay probably. And of course, I'm not just going to stay for 3 nights at Disney World. I'm going to want to go to the parks too. So I would probably want to stay at least 2 extra nights to spend a couple days in the parks. So I would be staying from Friday through Tuesday. That is 5 nights. I could stay at an all-star value resort for the price of maybe a nice Best Western on a weekend in most towns in the US. Or if you wanted to upgrade to a moderate resort, those are running maybe more like $300 a night. And then of course, food and drink. It just gets to be a lot of money. And I compared this to other racecations that I've taken. Specifically, I looked at a Nashville racecation because Nashville is notoriously a very expensive city to visit. My budget for Disney World is a good $1,000 more for the same amount of time as a trip to Nashville. So money is definitely a factor, even though Walt Disney World, again, is so good at making you forget that you have spent any money at all while you're there. It's just a reality you're going to have to think about. Next pro is the medals are some pretty heavy duty hardware. Like, I honestly feel like I could need some sort of like physical therapy after wearing this. I can't imagine doing the dopey races and having the 6 medals all around my neck at the same time. No, thank you. But if the bling is something that you are really into, these are pretty nice. And the next thing you want to consider before signing up for a Run Disney race is, where does the training fall? For me, I live in Minnesota. It is very cold in the winter, and my longest long run hits in the middle of December. I remember when I was training for the Walt Disney Marathon, my 20-miler landed in the middle of December. It was 20 degrees, and my water bottles were freezing over, and it was a challenge. And plus, it's falling in the middle of all of the holiday parties. If you feel like your December is pretty nuts already, then maybe the Run Disney Marathon weekend is not for you. There are other Run Disney race weekends, though, that are probably just as fun. I haven't actually participated in them. I was signed up for the Wine and Dine Half Marathon in November, but that was in 2020. It was switched to virtual, and I did get a refund for that. And obviously, Springtime Surprise is going to be in April, so that really depends on just which of the Run Disney races you want to participate in. And of course, the last pro is, yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, it's an early morning, but you're at Disney World. Disney World is fun. So that is the thought process that I go through whenever I hear that Run Disney siren song. I know Run Disney races are fun. I know we would have a blast at Disney World, riding all the fun and creative theme park rides, generally forgetting that the real world exists. However, you do also have to ask yourself, is another Run Disney race really what I want right now? Is this racecation worth sacrificing travel budgets and aspirations to, say, sit at a Parisian cafe drinking wine and generally being ignored by a waiter that could not care less whether you're there, or eating fondue and seeing stunning vista after stunning vista on the Tour du Mont Blanc, or hiking the Shinto Buddhist pilgrimage, the Kumanokoto, and getting way too into manga in Tokyo. And plus, yeah, these are fun races, but there are other fun races out there. Think about the Dramathon in Scotland, which is a trail run from distillery to distillery, and it ends with some delicious whiskey. Or the Médoc Marathon, which I know I am pronouncing incorrectly, so pardon, in France, where you get to try local wines all along the way. Or maybe you dig the island vibe a little more and the Bahamas Marathon sounds more like what you're into. Or should you just go to Epcot's World Showcase and call it good?
What do we have here, Liz?
It's a sushi donut from the Japan Pavilion. I actually love going to Walt Disney World, and I had a blast running the Walt Disney World Marathon. But stepping back from that knee-jerk reaction I get anytime that I see that Run Disney race registration is opening and I see that new artwork coming out for the Walt Disney World Marathon or Villains Weekend or whatever the artwork is for the new race weekend, I know that once I reflected on it, a Run Disney race is not actually what I want. And I know that it's actually Disney marketing at work and not my own real feelings that are pulling me back. And I know that there are other things right now that I would rather be doing with my time. And ultimately, the thing that really sealed the deal about registering for Springtime Surprise for me was the theme being announced. I know this is very shallow, but it was the theme being announced. It's Pixar themed. The 5K is Cars. No, thank you. The 10 miler is Toy Story. That's fine. You know, if you like Toy Story, great. And I'll never say never, but this time I'm saying no to Run Disney. And I hope this helped you making your decision if you were on the fence about registering for a Run Disney race. If you want to, leave in the comments, what are you going to do? Are you going to sign up for a Run Disney race? Or is there something else on your race calendar or that you are aspiring to that you would rather be doing? All right, take care. Bye. Okay, these medals are way too heavy. I feel like I'm going to need back surgery after wearing them.